Aloha and welcome to another Aloha Friday drip. Today's going to be a different one, dude. Today we're going to go live on our private network page and we're just going to field some questions. It's a Wednesday afternoon.
We're going to see how this goes.
We'll see. Yeah, it probably is going to be fantastic, but there may be nobody on. I don't know, dude. Can I be honest? I've never done a Facebook Live.
Me either.
My life.
This is the first time. We literally figured it out just now on how to do it.
I'm nervous.
So here we go.
On Facebook Lives.
People,
Can you edit it?
Nope. It's all live.
Here we go. Let's dive in.
Let's do it. Going live. 3,
Oh.
2, 1.
What is up, everybody? We're doing an Aloha Friday drip straight into your ear hole on the private network page to answer some Q&As. Now, I think that you can do Q&As on here. This is, for the record, it's my first ever Facebook Live.
Yes.
You
Same.
too?
Yeah, it's my first one ever. This is the first time we're ever doing this, But we honestly, we talked about on our last episode, our last Aloha
Cynthia,
Friday.
what's up? Hey, look at.
Oh, we got a comment.
There's the comment.
Yes, we got somebody. Here we
We're
go.
Figuring it out.
We're getting
Cynthia,
there.
Good to see you.
But on our last episode, we talked about how sometimes learning is failing. So this is what we're doing. We're jumping on here. We've got 7 viewers so far. And yeah, we're doing. Let's answer some questions. For the 7 viewers that we have, we'd love to hear some questions, answer some questions from you if you want to throw them in the comment section.
Can you hire a money-proven person? I don't know what that means, Cynthia. Can you expound on what a money-proven person is? What's up, Kayla? Capital raise. Can you hire a capital raiser? So the individual on your deal cannot just be a specific capital. Like they can't just only be a capital raiser. That goes against SEC rules and violations. But you can have a member of your team that helps with the capital raise. They just have to also help with something else, okay? They have to help with something else on there. So yes, you can bring somebody in to help you raise capital because somebody needs to raise the capital. You just have to involve them in something else as well, which they absolutely should be involved in more than just raising capital.
Yeah. I like to look at, can I kind of riff on this one? I like to look.
Jay, you can riff on whatever you want.
I like to look at capital raisers as investor relations because it's not just raising the capital, getting it into the deal, and then closing the deal.
Yes.
You have to maintain those relationships post-close.
Yep.
Updates on the property, quarterly, monthly updates. So there's so much more that goes into just capital raising than just getting investors' money into the account to be able to close the deal.
Yeah.
It's taking care of and really like nourishing those relationships post-close as well.
Totally.
And letting them know about other opportunities that you're going to have coming down the pipeline as well.
Yeah,
you want to keep them warm.
That word or term, capital raiser, should probably be
eliminated.
It should
I
be
agree.
investor relations because that's really what it is investor relations. You are maintaining that relationship.
Yeah, and at Multifamily Capital Partners, we don't even use the term capital raisers. It's It's our investor relations team.
Yep.
Yeah. Great question, though. Great question. It's one that comes up often.
Once you clarified it, Cynthia, I didn't. The money proven person was that threw me for a loop there for a second. But once you clarified it, we were good.
Oh yeah, great. Awesome. Right. What other questions?
What other questions? What other problems are you having? What can we help with?
Gabby, good to see you on here. Cynthia.
I like that better, she said. I love it. We should have
along those lines. Well, let's kind of riff off. Let's kind of riff off a capital raiser for a minute and investor relations. Ty, what does that look like at Multifamily Capital Partners? What does the investor relations department look like? Well,
what's up, Kim? Meaning what team members?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So we have a director of the investor relations director that oversees the team, okay? So the investor relations director, that director role is more out of the weeds. They're looking at the systems, the processes, what's going on, okay? So when a problem happens, when a mistake happens, when we drop the ball somewhere, it's their job to now create a system to make sure we don't make that mistake again. That's how every mistake should be handled, by the way. You identify the mistake, you then create a system around making sure that you don't make the same mistake. But it's hard to do that if you're in the weeds. And in the weeds, meaning in the weeds isn't a bad thing.
No.
It's just whatever the role is, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have two separate sides. Then we have individuals who are having the investor, the conversations with investors. They're the ones that are more doing the day-to-day investor relations side of things, like actual communication there. Mm-hmm. Then you have coordinators that are processing the paperwork. They're, doing the subscription docs, all that kind of stuff.
Setting up appointments for the people you just referred to. And might I add, the skill sets between these different roles that you're mentioning right now are vastly different.
Oh yeah.
They're extremely different, but they all fall under that same department, which
Yep.
is important to note.
Yep. And everybody pitches in to help in different ways, but there's specific roles and responsibilities that we abide by.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's awesome. Thank you for diving into there. Kurt, great question. Kim, so good to see you on here as well. Any suggestions on getting that first deal?
I mean, yeah, a lot, Kurt. Okay, give me an idea of what direction you're going. Okay, what is the role that you're looking to play? What's the value that you're looking to play? What are you doing there? And I can give you some suggestions. But I mean, shit, a ton of suggestions, man. Yes. But I want to get more granular with you instead of, I don't know, I want to know what you're doing so I can provide some more value there. How long have you been doing it as well? How new are you? And then, Cynthia, are you asking how do you raise funds or how do you prove funds? Are you talking about proof of funds? Is that what you're talking about?
I have a suggestion for Kurt. It's kind of vague and really can be applied to anything that you're really just starting out at. One of the things that you've taught me as well, and something that you mentioned in the 3-day workshop, is working on your business every single day.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times when new people get started in a new venture, it's like, all right, I'm going to put 3 days a week of work into it. I'm going to do it every other day. I'm going to put in 3 hours. No, you need to be working on your business every single day. Yeah. There has to be there has to be something that's going to help you push that needle forward every single day. Especially to get into that first deal.
Yep.
Especially there should be more work and more time going in than any other time.
Totally. No, literally every day. And that might sound simple, but it's not simple.
No.
Every single day. Okay, so Kayla asked, so let me do the proof of funds thing first, okay? So proof of funds, you can have a sponsor help you with proof of funds. You can have investors help you with proof of funds. There's a number of ways to get proof of funds, but really that is, if it's like to see a property, that's a qualifying question, just so you know, Cynthia. It's a qualifying question. Your broker wants to know how you're going to handle that. And your answer, you need to understand, like, when you're going in and you're chatting with a broker, some of their major questions that they have are, how are you going to fund the deal? That's one of their major questions. What's your target and how are you going to fund the deal? Meaning debt and equity. How are you going to qualify for the debt? How are you going to raise the equity? So you need to overcome that before they even need to ask that. So my advice to you is when a broker asks me that, which I used to get asked that all the time in the beginning. And my response would be, how much? Yeah. I didn't know how to respond.
Yeah, yeah.
And so your response is key, though, and your response needs to be something along the lines of, hey, man, we structure through a typical syndication model, which means we raise the capital from contract to close. You're asking me where the funds are going to come from. We have a great investor base that can take down X number of funds. It depends on how much you feel like you can raise, and be realistic with that. And so X number of funds from our investor base. If it's bigger equity raise than that, then we would bring in some family office groups. I mean, I'm giving you some examples of verbiage to use, but some family office groups who can take down anywhere from, this equity piece. And just be confident with where you're pulling the equity from, where you're pulling where you're going to be raising the money from. But if they still ask for proof of funds, then yeah, you can get it from a number of resources. This is why your team is critical, right? Your team is critical because they can help, like a sponsor can help you with proof of funds. Another thing that I'll do, though, is send my schedule of real estate and be like, you want to know, can I close a deal? Here's my schedule of real estate that shows that I can close deals. Once again, though, how do you have a schedule of real estate in the beginning? It's like the chicken before the egg. Well, you partner up with people, you build your team. So, Cynthia, my question would be, have you started building your team? And if you have, what are those team members? Who are those team members? And are they strategic and specific to helping you with the needs that you have? And are you helping them with the needs that they have, right? That's what's key.
Such good advice there. Awesome. Okay, so Kurt chimed back in and said, right now I'm focusing on the acquisition side of things, side of finding the property. And then he said, thank you for that point. So any suggestions, Ty, right now as Kurt's trying to find that first property?
Your relationships would be, and I'll say the same thing. It's building your team. So have you started building your team? If not, you need to build your team. And when I say that, you have operating partners, then you have local team members, right? So that's your brokers, it's your property management companies, it's your contractors, it's your team members, right? Your attorneys, those kind of things. Every one of those people can help you get into deals. They come across information, deals, all those kind of things all the time. So it's not just building those relationships, but it's having a solid follow-up system in place to continue to get in front of them to be able to do that. But here's one little hack for you, okay? And it's one of my favorite hacks to be able to source deals from new brokers, which a lot of times people will go up to brokers and they'll be like, okay, I want you to send me your best pocket listings. Well, you have to understand, they make money by closing a deal. They're not just going to typically hand over their best deals right to a brand new person right in the very beginning. So my advice to you would be to go find some deals in the area that you would, maybe they're not listed, they're not on market, they're not for sale, but you find these deals that would work, deals that fit your criteria, your target, and you take those to the broker. You're going to pull them up from CoStar and those kind of things as well. Take those to the broker, handful of them, and be like, okay, these are deals that are interested. If you can, I'm going to call on these owners right here. I'm going to call them no matter what, but I know that you may have a different relationship, a different approach to be able to lock that deal under contract. And if you get this deal under contract, I would be a potential buyer for this deal. Help you understand why that's powerful. Now, instead of you just hoping that the broker's going to do all the work to bring you their best pocket listings, you have brought them specific deals that they know you're interested in. All they need to do is now call. And by calling, they know that if they're interested in buying or not. And it's going to give you this opportunity to provide value to the broker that then in turn provides value to you. You're not just hoping that they'll do the work. And I am going to call on those deals no matter what. But if the broker can call, your chances of locking that deal up are very good. It also shows that you're proactive. You've actually done the work. Another thing that I like to do is ask the broker, hey, give me a list of, the last 10 deals that you just sold. And then I'll go walk those deals. And out of those 10 deals they gave me, I'll be like, hey, this deal would be a fit, this deal would be a fit, this deal would be a fit, and here's why. It helps them understand what your target is, which brings that clarity to them so they know what to bring you. If they don't know what to bring you, then they're guessing just like you're guessing, and your chances of getting a solid deal that is within your criteria, what you're looking for, is a lot less.
Such a solid answer. Such a great answer. Great question. We had another one pop up here. I want to make sure we get an answer.
Yeah, Kayla. Sorry,
Kayla
asked,
great question. She asked for tips on starting the conversation with potential investors.
Tips with starting a conversation with potential investors. Okay. I don't know. My go-to, I'll tell you what my go-to is. I say I don't know. I do know, but what I'm saying is my go-to is always to talk about them. Okay, just literally talking about them. What are they doing? What's their experiences? Like literally just having a conversation, man. I talk to people as much as possible all the time. It's naturally going to come back to you. But when it comes back to you, you have to be able to tie it back in to something that's, applicable to them. You also have to have excitement and energy. Okay. And what I mean by that, I had somebody over at my house for dinner the other night. Went home early, you know that, and missed yoga on Monday to go. We had people over for dinner. And when I get there, they, were having this conversation, and I didn't know them. My wife had known them, and so I'd never really had a conversation with them. So we start talking, and they're asking me what I do, and then it gets to investing, and they're talking about that they were going to buy a condo to do an Airbnb type thing. They're like, what's your thoughts? Okay, now here's this unique opportunity. They're thinking of buying a condo to do an Airbnb. A passive approach would be like, no, that's probably going to be a great thing. And we got a lot of tourists here in Maui. And my approach is never passive. It's very, very definite. And I'd be like, well, okay, well, what's your goal? I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously I'm telling them what I do, that I invest in real estate. And when you tell people you invest in real estate, most people think single family homes, flips, Airbnb, something along those lines. Then I tell them I buy apartment buildings. And most people think that they cannot buy an apartment building. So I'll pause on it. I'll be like, before I give you advice, what are you trying to accomplish with that? Well, I want to get some cash flow. I want to be able to put my money to work. I want to get out of the stock market. I want to hedge against inflation, whatever it is. Okay. Well, and a lot of times it's time. For this person, it was time. And I was like, okay, well, the time aspect. Like, you're looking at the return from investment, right? But you're not looking at the return on time from that investment. So I have them paint this picture. I'm not just going to tell them exactly. I'm just asking questions to have them paint the picture. Okay, well, How much time are you going to have to put into this investment? What do you need to get done? Do you need to rehab it? Do you need to make it ready? Are you going to hire a property management company? Probably not, because it's one Airbnb unit. It's going to take most of your profits. Okay, so the time commitment there. Like, are you doing that because you necessarily want to do it, or is that just the only option that you know to do? Well, it's probably only the only option I know how to do. Well, dude, can I tell you how I've been able to build what I've been able to build? Well, yeah, I would love to. I went against the grain. Like, I didn't come from a privileged background, but I'm a part of some of the most privileged real estate investments in the world, which is apartments. And the only reason I'm a part of those is because I learned how to be a part of them. So what I do is I put my money. So I'm talking from a passive investor standpoint. I want you to help you understand, because I invest passively all the time. Yes, it's going to come around to the fact that I operate deals, but I want to relate to them at their level to help them understand that I do what I'm telling them that they should do, because that is absolutely how I've made a great chunk of money. Everything that I'm making on my acquisitions, all those kind of things, I roll it into passive investments. Like, that's literally, I roll it over, live off the cash flow, roll everything over on fees. So it's, hey, I'm putting this work into apartments. And what I've learned with apartment investing, I didn't even know it was a possibility to invest in apartments. But what I've learned is that you invest passively, which means I'm not having to like do the day-to-day stuff. My investment is in there passively. But a couple things happen with apartments. Apartments aren't as reactive to a market as like a single family market, because in single family market, you have a bunch of individuals there who are emotional, which means they get emotional. On an apartment, it's more of a business decision, which means there's not as many ups and downs, just random ups and downs with the market because of whatever's going on in a market. Same thing happens in the stock market. There's a lot of reactivity in the stock market because of emotion in the stock market. You get every random ass person in there doing, selling, buying, whatever they're doing. I invest in these apartments, and these apartments are valued like a true operating business. So you can drive up the rents, and what will happen is it'll drive up the value. And what that allows is cash flow. It allows me to get equity, but I also get massive tax benefits. And I'm starting to just paint the picture now at this point. So that's how I do it. I'm not just going to go in and tell them why they should do that. I am going to tell them how they should do that, but I need to ask questions, just like I asked Kurt questions earlier on what he was doing, so that I could give him true guidance on it. Same thing that I'm going to do with the passive investor.
No, so valuable, and such a great approach. No, I hope people are taking notes, because that was incredible. Okay, for those of you that are just joining us here on the Facebook Live, we're doing a live Q&A. So if you have any questions for Tyler or myself, please throw them in the comment section so we can get those answered. We've got a couple more questions come in. Michael says, I pencil whip a deal per day.
What's up, Mike? Good to see you, man.
I think I found a first good one. I have been through all 12 modules. I haven't been through all 12 modules on the underwriting in the path. Can I have your permission to reach out to one of the coaches/deal analysts to review it? Great question.
I would have to look deeper into, I don't know. So scroll up a little bit.
Yeah.
So, sorry, let me reread it.
One of the prerequisites to get your deal to the coaches, to have them underwrite it and have a look at it, is to make it through these 12 modules. So he's asking for permission to see if he can skip that step and just get it right to the coaches.
No. So why? Let me tell you a problem that people have, okay? Mike, why do you want to get it directly to the coaches? It's because it's urgent right now, right? Which urgency is a great thing, but systems and things are there for a reason, right? You are really in this because you want to learn how to do it and understand what the coaches are telling you. What you're trying to do is rely solely on the coaches. The coaches are there to help guide you, but they're certainly not there to just do it for you. And there's systems and policies in place because you're here to learn it, man. It's kind of like, Pax and Marley, my kids, right? They could, whatever it is that they want to do, it's easier for me. I'm telling you, in a short term, it's easier for me to just do it because I'm in a hurry, whatever. What takes more patience is to be like, no, I'm going to wait for you to pick up everything in your room. Marley, as an example, takes about an hour to pick up her magnet tiles. It's unbelievable. She has to stack them all perfectly, and I want to pull my hair out if I had hair.
I wonder who she gets that from, stacking them all perfectly.
Yep, that's me. But I'll tell you, having her do it, she learns how to do it properly. You want to know why? Because she has to do it. So we're going to make you do those same things. Yes, we're here to help, but man, you want to be able to jump on things immediately, but you do that by learning it. So it might not be the answer that you wanted, but man, you got to go through those modules so that you can learn how to do it.
It's a great answer. That's a great answer, and
I agree.
And it's something that pops. It's something that pops up often.
Well, yeah, because here's what.
And Michael's not the only person that's asked this question. Like,
bro,
I just want to make that clear as well. Is that this is something that happens often, but it's one of those principles that is constantly being taught and retaught.
Because urgency is a great thing, but here's the thing with that urgency: your urgency isn't everyone else's urgency. So like, I'll get somebody that sends me a message as an example, right? And they'll be like, "Hey, I got this question. It's super urgent. Whatever." Dude, I gotta imagine this, okay? Imagine having your whole thing of to-do list that you got to do, everything that you got to check off in your day-to-day, and then 1,000 people, whatever, thousands, a lot, but whatever, a bunch of people who think that everything they have is also very urgent. It is urgent. It is very urgent. But we want to weaponize you to be able to make sure that you understand how to take care of that urgency, and you do that by learning it. And you know what's going to be one of the best learning tools? Not being able to jump right into it because you haven't learned it. That should push you right into the modules to make sure that you get it. And then the coach is there to help you guide you from there. So.
Oh, no, exactly. Awesome. Next question here. Mari Kai, thank you for your question, and you're welcome for hosting this. We've been on for 20 minutes. This has been a blast. I really have enjoyed this so far. I've used the new underwriting template, but I'm still trying to understand what constitutes a good deal given current market conditions. Could you walk us through it based on ARR, DSCR, and COC, et cetera?
What do you mean by current market conditions? Because those things don't change. What I mean by that, the return metrics that you're looking for, like ARR as an example, just because of something happening in a market, that does not mean that my standards are going to change. My standards are there for a reason, right? Just like standards in our own life. They should be there no matter what, right? So those standards are there. Now, what you need to do is be looking at problems, how to search for problems to make sure that we can find a way to get it to your standard. So your ARR, we will not do anything that has an ARR, a conservative ARR of under 18%. Conservative. We won't do anything. But very rarely, at the very point of acquisition, is it like going to be perfectly there to just, no, there's things we got to do to get us there. Scroll up a little bit so I can see that question again.
Yep.
There's going to be things that we need to do to get us there. Your DSCR, your lender is going to tell you what that requirement is. My bigger one is your cash on cash. And I want to know what I'm at acquisition, and I want to know what conservatively I can get at the end of year one. So our base qualifying cash on cash that we're typically looking for is 9%, okay? But very rarely do we acquire a deal that has a 9% cash on cash return at acquisition. We need to be able to get that there conservatively by the end of year one, conservatively. So how do you do that? You look for value add plays on what you can do, and then you take those. Once you put those in and you have those things, then you take those to the coaches and you're like, okay, is this conservative? Is this aggressive? Because we'll help you from there. That's for sure. Because it's hard to know what's conservative or aggressive at the end. I just saw Brett's on here. I think he's still on here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Brett can attest to this, man. When we're running a deal, when we're looking at these, very rarely does it just pencil out right out the gates, right? And Brett, you can attest to that. It's literally taking we have phone calls. Hey, this is where we're at. You take a look at it. What do you think? Okay, hey, you just walked the property. What did you see? What are the upsides? What are the downsides? What are the value add plays? What are the pre-screen stuff? We're looking at those things all the time. Actually, we just recorded a podcast, by the way, that will have already dropped by the time this one actually drops. This is going to turn into a podcast that we talked a little bit about that. Some pre-screen value add plays that we had on a deal of ours.
Yeah, so look out for that episode. A ton of really great information. Awesome.
Drops on Friday for those of you who are on here.
Tomorrow. No, Friday. Sorry, it's only Wednesday. I thought it was Thursday. Okay, Gabby asks here, what specific kind of tax benefits do investors get?
The biggest, cost segregation, bonus depreciation are the biggest. Okay, so this is how I explain it. You have, even though real estate, this is my go-to explanation, right? Even though real estate generally appreciates in value, you have physical components that depreciate in value. And the IRS knows that, so they offer us, our tax write-off essentially for those physical components, roofs, siding, parking lots that depreciate over time that we have to replace. Okay, that helps. But you have to appreciate those items over, once again, 27 and a half years, whatever that number is. And so even if I go put in a roof or a parking lot, I don't write off that full amount. what I do is I get to depreciate a portion of that over 27.5 years. Cost segregation shortens that depreciation period, shortens it. But meaning what happens is you'll be able to write off more, but you'll also get hit on the back end. Still worth it, meaning back end when you exit. That's still worth it because $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. But bonus depreciation is massive. Right now, 2022 is the last year that investors get to benefit, us as well, from 100% bonus depreciation. In 2023, it drops down to 80%, which is still great, first off. But awesome. 100% is a big deal. So to help you understand what that means, 1-to-1, and these properties that we go invest in are usually anywhere from, we like to look for 1-to-1. They don't all get 1-to-1 bonus depreciation. But what that means is that for every dollar we invest, we get a dollar of bonus depreciation, or at the low end, 50 cents of bonus depreciation. So what that means, if I invest $100,000, I have bonus depreciation for $100,000. That means if your investors get $40,000 of cash flow throughout the hold period, they pay zero taxes on that. But they also have $60,000 of a tax credit left to offset other income somewhere else. I hope that answers that question.
No, definitely.
Tax benefits on multifamily are great. And if you compare it, here's what I want you to think of. If you compare that to them investing in the stock market or another investment, let's say they make 8% in the stock market. Well, they don't keep 8%. They get taxed on that money, so they keep less. They make 8% on one of your deals in cash flow. They actually keep 8%. Sometimes even more because of the tax write-offs, the extra stuff that you get. So let me know if that answers your question. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but.
Awesome. I think that answers it for sure. Great question. Steve, thank you for your question. This is a great question. It's kind of in line with one of the prior questions that you answered on how to initiate conversation with investors. He's got more of a specific question here. So when you meet possible investors that have put money into crowdfunding and get 24% returns and are so happy with that, and then he comes down here from there, what do you say or do to show them the way we do it is so much better?
Why is the way you do it so much better? I'm going to ask you that. Why is the way you do it so much better? What 24% annually, 24% over a certain number of years, is that total return? Give me some more guidance on that too.
I think that brings up interesting point. Right here, this question almost sounds like Steve's trying to convince somebody to do something that out of what they're already trying to do. Right? I think there's a fine line when raising capital and bringing new investors into your company is you want to present them an opportunity. You're not trying to convince anybody of anything, right? So right here it sounds like, we need to convince them to do it this way instead of the way they're already doing it. You don't want to start a relationship with that conflict, I believe. You don't want to start, do you get what I'm trying to say here?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things that you bring up often. You're not trying to convince anybody. You're giving an opportunity because it's a fantastic opportunity to be able to invest in multifamily real estate and letting them make that decision, right? You have great opportunities. If one person's going to say no because they're happy with what they have, that's their loss. Move on to the next one is what I would say.
So, but I want to understand, I agreed with you, 100% agree with everything you just said. I'm never going in or trying to convince. Once again, when I talk about flipping the script, I want to truly see it from their perspective. And my intention, yes, the goal is to raise money and get people into our deals, but the intention is to truly help that person. It might sound tree hugger, hippie, foo-foo. It's not, dude. People will feel your intention, man. We talk about that all the time. So what is your true intention? And is what you're doing better than what they're doing? Okay, so I'm going to ask them. Let's Steve, I didn't get a reply back on what you think is better, or is this 24% return? But here's what I'm going to ask them. I'm going to ask them specific questions. First off, when somebody tells me 24% returns, this is my reaction. Sweet. So is that annualized return? Like literally, I'm not, wow, that's amazing, or oh, that's shitty. It's sweet. Is that annual returns? Is that total returns? How long were they investing for? I want to understand it. I don't know what that even means, man. Over what span? Maybe it's 24% returns over the span of 3 years. That's a dog shit return. So I'm not going to tell them it's dog shit without getting the understanding that it is dog shit. Maybe it's cat shit. I don't know. I want to know though. So what is it? What's going on? Okay, now how do they structure it? Do you benefit from, I'm asking these questions, Steve, is what I want to point this out. It's cool, man. So like, how do they structure those deals? Like I've never done a crowdfunding deal, which by the way, I've never done a crowdfunding deal. So I'm going to ask these questions. I've never done a crowdfunding deal. Like do they pass down depreciation to you as well? Because understand, a lot of investors do not pass down depreciation to investors. A lot of operators don't pass down depreciation to investors. So I'm gonna be asking them these questions about what has been going on. And I don't know how that's annual, but nothing at the end. Yes, that's annual, and it was for 2 years. So 24% is what it was, right?
Yeah.
24% each year, so a total return over the span of 2 years of 48 or a total of 24 is what I'm trying to understand. Real quick, give me a quick shout out. 48 over 2 years or 24 over 2 years? Because I'm not understanding what you mean nothing on the back end. What are they getting cash flow on it? These are the questions you need to be asking though, Steve, is 24 total. So that's 12% annually. So they're getting a cash flow of 12%, which listen, that's a good cash flow, but they're not benefiting from the upside. Okay. So how is what you do better? Well, it depends on what they're looking for. Okay. So maybe they are a conservative investor who needs cash flow right now. They're not worried about future equity growth. They just need cash flow right now. Okay. Understand that you can structure your deal this same way. If you find a bunch of investors that don't necessarily care too much about the backside, the upside potential on the back end, they just want solid, consistent cash flow. Help you understand what this could mean. You can structure your deal in a way where you give them a higher preferred return, but you don't give them anything on the back end. And they'll be pumped about it because they get cash flow throughout. You'll be pumped about it because your cash flow throughout may be lower, but your upside on the back end is going to be bigger. That is a fit for you and a fit for them. Well, when we sell, they get 1%, right? Yeah, that's how we structure, but there's a million ways to structure. So what I'm saying is it better? Your initial question was, how do I, help them understand that what we do is so much better? I don't know what's better for their situation. Once again, if they want to participate in the equity growth and the cash flow, well, I'm going to paint that picture. But if they don't and they just want to benefit from the cash flow side, that's it. Well, dude, that's great for them. I may talk about the backside. I may talk about the equity growth. I may talk about those kind of things, but we need to know what their goals are before we know what's best for them.
It's a great answer.
Okay.
Let's see here. How often should we be talking to lenders?
How often should you be in contact with your lender?
Yep.
Regularly. I don't have a solid answer there, but dude, in today's market with rates hiking and things changing, it depends on how often you're looking at deals, okay? Because how often you're underwriting deals is what I mean by that, Hunter. If you're underwriting deals consistently, which you should be, you need to make sure that your underwriting projections are in line with what your lender's looking for. So help you understand this. We had a deal sent our way just recently, like literally this is last Thursday that Ryan brings this to me. Well, the first thing that Ryan did was underwrite and then send it to our lender to be like, hey, are these in line with your projections, or what do I need to be here? Am I off? Okay, what do I need to? What do you think that we're gonna need for percent down? What do you think that the rate will be a conservative rate? How much are we gonna be, LTV? So if I'm looking at a deal, we're talking with our lender all the way throughout that deal for sure to make sure our stuff is in line.
Okay, Courtney's question here.
What's up, Courtney?
Courtney, thanks for being on. Appreciate your question. This is a really good question. In speaking with sponsors, I have found that most want you to bring a deal to them. What do you suggest someone do if their strength or role they are interested in is asset management or due diligence and not so much acquisitions?
Change. The hardest way for you to get in on your first deal is asset management and due diligence. The hardest. The easiest way is investor relations and acquisitions, bringing a deal. That's the easiest way for you to get into a deal. So if you're trying to get into a deal as quickly as possible, I would find ways to source deals, source equity. That is going to be your quickest way. Now, does that mean that you can't asset manage? No, you can definitely asset manage, but those should tie together. So think of it this way. Let me reframe it a little bit. Now, if you can add another arsenal. Courtney, you have a partner that you're working with, right? Will you remind me? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, she does, for sure.
So you and your partner should divide and conquer. And this is what Ryan and I did as well. Ryan focused more on acquisitions operations, and I focused more on the investor relations side. That's what we did. So we took these strengths that we had, these focuses that we had, and yes, we partnered, we brought in other people like sponsors, but we used these things that we had, these values that we had, to be able to provide value from multiple ends depending on who that sponsor was and what their needs were. I'm always having investor relationships. I mean, so is Ryan, but he's mainly, his major primary focus was sourcing deals, and then operations once we had the deal. So think about this, the thing that we talk about all the time is providing value. So in speaking with sponsors, if you found that most of them want you to bring them a deal, provide value and bring them a deal, Courtney. Provide value. You are one of the most personable people you're very personable. And I know you know that. If you don't know that, you need to know that. Use that skill set to go and build relationships with brokers. It is very much within your wheelhouse. Jackson would have a problem with that because he has a shitty personality. But
Major slam on Facebook Live.
Oh, and it's your birthday tomorrow. It's his birthday tomorrow. He has a great personality. Use that.
No, but ditto to those things that Ty said there at the end, Courtney. You have amazing ability to connect with people. Use that to your advantage for sure.
I mean, you couldn't close the deal with Ryan, but he's harder than any broker or any seller. Trust me. Plus, that's a C minus deal.
But could very well be turned into a B+.
But it could be turned in as a good value add deal.
Awesome. These are great questions. Awesome. Oh, Enrique, great question. How did you find a mentor, Ty? What did that process look like for you?
Mentors, man. I'm always looking for mentors all the time. So I did the same thing that you did, which I became part of a mentorship group. That was massive. And then, man, every partner that I have is a mentor. Ryan's a mentor to me. Lisa and Greg are mentor. Literally every partner that I have is a mentor to me because I'm wanting to learn all the time. So here's what we did. In the beginning, we wanted to partner with as many people as possible because everyone has these different skill sets, these different talents, right? These different experiences. So I wanted to partner with multiple people, sponsors, to gain an understanding of what their skill set was, what their experiences were, how we could benefit from that. Obviously providing value, but they're gonna provide value to us, obviously. Then from there, we want to take those and be in a position now to provide even more value somewhere else. So dude, that doesn't end. It's not just one mentor. I'm finding them all the time. Mentors, I have mentors in books. I have mentors in podcasts. I have all over all the time. I want to learn. I love learning. But I love learning and implementing. So how do I find them? I know it's a loaded question, man, but I'm not afraid to go and find them.
I want to take
action on it.
I want to take the question a step further. You mentioned I did something similar to you. I joined a mentorship program.
Yep.
You joined a mentorship program when you got started in multifamily real estate. Are you still joining mentorship programs?
Absolutely.
Why?
Dude, because I'm always learning, dude. It doesn't matter what level you're at, you're always learning. Another thing that I'll tell you is that my job is to feed people information to help people grow. And the way that you put yourself in a position to grow people is to grow yourself. You cannot ever stop growing yourself. The minute that you do that is the minute that you lose your ability to provide value and grow others. And so at this point, never in my life have I felt more of a responsibility to be part of mentorship programs and ask questions than right now, ever in my life. I know that you don't always see me, on the coaching calls, or you don't always see me on. I mean, obviously I do events and I, do coaching calls, but obviously you see other people a lot more than me. But I need you to understand, I've never worked harder in my life. Yes?
Yo, very true.
All the time, man. And it's a massive responsibility that I am very grateful for because it's pushed me to become, every day it pushes me to become something bigger, better, to help you do the same thing.
How much time a week do you put towards your mentorships that you're a part of, that you're an actual student, a mentee of?
Learning?
Yeah.
I mean, Dude, I mean, not just a week, every day.
That's what I'm saying. How much time do you think you put in a week-ish, if you had to ballpark?
I don't know. I mean, a couple hours a day at least.
See, I ask this because just to point out, you should never stop looking to grow and looking to add knowledge. Tyler's continuing to grow, and Tyler's crushing it in the spaces that he's in. But it's because he doesn't stop learning and implementing these new things and these new strategies that he's learning from these mentorship groups. So that's just something I wanted to point out. This should never, ever stop. If you want.
And then guess what I do as soon as I learn? I go try to share it as soon as possible.
I'm very lucky to be one of those people that gets to learn those things from Tyler. It's incredible.
Love it.
Awesome. Let's see here. I have a question.
What's up?
Armando, thanks for your question. I just found a good deal, and we got it checked by Zach. The returns are really good. How do I go about you possibly sponsoring this deal?
Have you talked to Zach about that process? Because how the filtering process typically goes is it goes to Zach. Zach knows our criteria. He knows what we're looking for. And then he'll pass it up. So Zach or Jordan. And then it passes up to Ryan. And then it goes from there. So it depends. We know, I would ask you where that deal is. I would ask you, and Zach or Jordan or anybody would. And it's funny because we're actually having, next week, we have an MFCP meeting here in Maui where we're redefining all of those deal point metrics that we're looking for. So we're always dialing in and getting as definite as possible of the deals that we're looking for. So deal flow isn't necessarily a problem that we have. We have a lot of deal flow, but we're always looking for the best deals to go with. And so yeah, man, figure out what those deal criteria are, where we're looking for, and then send it over, man. Let us know that that's something you're looking to do. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, that flow system. A lot of people want to bring their deals directly to Ryan and I, but Underwriter spoke to Zach, and Zach said he will talk to you. Sweet, and that'll usually funnel the Ryan first. A lot of people will try to send it right to Ryan and I first. It's the worst way to make progress on that. It goes through that process we just talked about. Zach, Jordan, then up the chain. So,
good question.
Great question. It's the same, dude. Listen. You have Brett on here, and you've heard us with AM Multifamily and the Gibby's Capital. Dude, they were very active in the network. They were very active in providing value. They were very active in reaching out. They were very active. You should do the same thing, man. You should be doing, and you are. But that's exactly how you get recognized and you get noticed. You stand out. People believe that they have to have this, something that makes them stand out to do outstanding things. You don't, man. It's the little things that really make you stand out. Providing value, answering questions, just being involved in all that kind of stuff is critical for you. Not just on our level, on anyone's level out there, dude. So,
these are awesome questions.
I love it.
I think that's where we're going to wrap it. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Everybody that's joined on and jumped on and asked a question, we super appreciate you and your participation. Ty, is there anything you want to add or wrap up with?
Yes.
Here, yeah.
Be a leader. I feel like I have so many conversations right now of people that are so nervous about losing. I understand someone, no matter what the market conditions are, someone is always losing and someone is always winning. Always. So quit convincing yourself that you can't win because of a specific, and hopefully you're not. We only have a few people on here, but I just feel like I've had so many conversations like that as of late. And I just want people to know, dude, there's always people that are winning, always people that are losing. We have to figure out what it takes to actually win. And one of the best things you can do is be a leader. That's how you win. And what I mean by that is there are people right now that are needing you to lead out, man. Needing you to lead out. Amazing people on the sidelines. We talk about passive investors, amazing people on the sidelines waiting for someone to step up to help them understand how to put their money to work. They're looking for a leader, somebody who's confident in their direction. Another thing I want you to understand, how many market cycles, scroll down to the chat if you don't mind so I can see. Yeah. How many market cycles do you think that you're going to go through? What's up, Brandy? It's good to see you. How many market cycles do you think that you're going to go through in your lifetime? market cycles in your lifetime. Two to three market cycles in your lifetime. Take advantage of that, man. Take advantage of that. You are in this unique position to be weaponized with knowledge at a unique time to go take advantage of that, man. Do not sleep on that. Do not sleep on that, and do not sleep on your ability to be a leader, to make sure that other people are taking advantage of that instead of being scared on the sidelines. They need you to lead. Step up and lead, man. And if you need help with that, let us know. We can help with that. So
awesome. For those of you that joined here on Facebook Live, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining. For those of you that are listening on the Growthcast here later when this is published, we appreciate you as well. Thank you. Like, share, rate, review, all of the things we do for the podcast.
Man,
so
for sure.
We appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, y'all. It's so fun, dude. Hey, we'll do this again, man. If you guys enjoyed this, let us know. And we'll do it again. If you're watching this later, obviously we'll keep this on the network page. If you're watching this later and you enjoyed it, let us know. We'll actually start to schedule them out because it was fun.
It was. I really enjoyed doing it.
All right. Quick Aloha value as we wrap this one up. That was fun, by the way, man.
I love doing that.
I enjoyed that. I freaking love our network so much.
Our network really is special. It really is. We really have some fantastic people and individuals who are willing to learn new things and implement those new things and be humble to learn those new things. I assume we probably have a few Growthcast listeners that don't know about the network and that aren't part of the network. Yeah. I'm going to put a link in the description. If you want to know more about the network and getting involved and becoming part of that network, click the link and we'll reach out to you and see how we can get you involved for sure.
Yeah, no question, man. One of the questions was the mentorship program where do I find mentors? Where do you find mentors? Or do we have a mentorship program? And they're amazing people that help you within the business. So I always say to live always with Aloha. So the Aloha value that I wanted to do was Aloha and what that truly means. And, Aloha it's one of the most recognized Hawaiian terms, right? You say Aloha when you say hello, you say it when you say goodbye, literally you say it for, I love you, everything. Yeah. But there's a deeper meaning behind living Aloha. So alo is the presence of, and ha is breath or life force. So literally Aloha is the presence of life, man. It is recognizing life in yourself, but it's recognizing the life in other people, And that's what I believe the world is missing so much of, dude. It's missing understanding that, dude, everyone is here for a purpose and that there's life and meaning and value and, dude, love in every single person. And so it's recognizing not just yourself, but more importantly, recognizing other people and the value that they bring and constantly showing love to other people, man. Constantly showing love to other people. When you do that and you're that presence of Aloha, I look at it as like this vibe, this energy, this good vibes, and that's maybe more in line with Mana, but it's more in line with Aloha too. It's love, dude. It's true love. And love is it's a powerful tool to help you connect with people, and connection with people is how that's what truly brings meaning and purpose and happiness into our lives, in my opinion.
Was it you that said the other day your quality of life is directly impacted of the quality of your relationships?
Yes. Yeah.
That's exactly what Aloha is.
It is, dude.
Your quality of your life is really determined about the quality and the amount of love that you spread.
Let me tell you why I love living in Maui. Yes, it's beautiful. And it's, anytime you're feeling down, it's very easy to walk outside. We talked about this at lunch yesterday. Yeah. It's very easy to walk outside and just find gratitude. It's beautiful. But I'll tell you why I love living in Maui and Hawaii. What makes Maui, what makes Hawaii are the people. I love the people, man. I love the people. I love the Aloha vibe that they bring. And it's so crazy to me, dude, because I get asked this question all the time of like, hey, man, what is it like to live out there? Like, do people treat you differently because you're a white dude living out in Maui? Do they treat you bad? No, dude. What you put out in the universe is what you're going to get back from the universe. Like, I have never fallen in love with people more than where I love the people that I love it here. But they feel that, dude. They feel that, and I believe that they feel that. That's why I get that. So whatever it is, whatever is within you is... whatever you're seeing externally is because of what's within you, in my opinion.
So true.
So y'all live always with Aloha. Peace.